Ladies, I wanted to start off this pod specifically for y'all. You know, when you tell us to go to therapy, you're always telling us, yo, you got so many problems, you got so much stuff inside of you, you need to go to therapy. Just know that when we finally start going to therapy, that we gonna be able to see that you not doing the work. I know it's a hard pill to swallow, but I'm seeing it a lot. The same people who told me to go to therapy, now when I'm talking to them and I'm having conversations and I'm bringing stuff up, I'm like, "Oh, you not even doing the work. You haven't been doing. I don't know what y'all been doing. I don't know if y'all playing tic-tac-toe, Uno. I don't know what y'all doing inside of your sessions, but my sessions, we doing work. And now that I'm seeing how you handling, accountability and me wanting you to acknowledge, said issues. Hey, but I'm gonna leave it alone. Anyways, this is episode 4 of Subject to Change. We're back. Yo, number one, we're just growing. Like every pause, but also we are growing though. Like we've gone from 45 to 70 subscribers in like 3 weeks. That's really good to me. So thank y'all for rocking with me. But let's get started. So first thing we're gonna get into is It, or Welcome to Derry, but it's like the prequel to It with Pennywise the clown. And well, there's spoilers in this. There's gonna be spoilers in this. So right off rip, let's just get to the first scene. Kid is watching a movie in a movie theater. The movie theater will play a part later on in this review, but kid runs away from a movie theater, gets in a car. He says, yo, take me anywhere with Derry. He thinks he's with a normal family. You could tell that this is not a normal family by how normal this family looks and how they react to taking a kid who is clearly running away, right? So off rip, we already know something's wrong. And then they finally show that something's wrong after some weird stuff, right? Some weird stuff happens in the car. I'm not going to go too into detail with that, but after a while, it gets weird and a birth of a demon happens, a demon baby with like another baby skull or face or mouth. It's just a lot going on. It's crazy, it's graphic, it's gory, and pretty much we don't hear from homeboy again, right? Like he's taken, he's gone. Pennywise got him. So that's how it starts. That's like the first scene. Then we get into some of the cast, right? So they're setting, this first episode is a lot of exposition. I don't necessarily have a lot to say here. There's some all right scares in there, not really though, for a horror show, and I think people were underwhelmed with that from what I'm hearing, and I was underwhelmed with it, but I was just like, yo, it's the first episode, it's gonna have some exposition in it, right? So one thing though that was really interesting to me, and I wrote it down, and it was weird that I wrote it down because I wasn't trying to like look into it that deeply, but there's a scene where these two girls, right, this is like middle school, high school, where everybody's trying to fit in. So one of the friends, the one with the glasses, who I can't stand by the way, but one of the friends tells the other girl, I'll put their picture so you know who I'm talking about, so it doesn't just sound like I'm saying this girl and that girl, because I don't remember their names, but pretty much one of the girls hears the boy that went missing in the pipes, whatever. So she tells the other girl's like, yo, this sounds crazy. You already have a past with sounding crazy because her dad was chopped up or something like that. So she already has like this crazy stigma on her, and her friend doesn't want her to look more crazy, but it's really for more selfish reasons. And she kind of calls her out on it, and she's like, are you worried that they're going to think I'm crazy, or are you worried that they're going to think we're crazy, right? Like together, like I'm a reflection of you and you're trying to defend yourself against that. And that just made me think, yo, like, with my best friend, I've literally never had to worry about that. And I know that these kids are in middle school, high school, but I met my best friend in middle school, and I'm 35 now. Damn, I almost forgot my age, but I'm 35 now, and I've never had that worry of like my friend selling me out, or my best friend, just being worried how I look in front of people affecting them. So I was just thinking about that. I was like, damn, like kids be going through it. And when you find good friends, keep good friends around you, keep good friends in your circle, because stuff like that is real. Like people, and I have actually had friends who are like that too, who act different in front of people. And those people are no longer my friends. And they were quickly out of my friend group. Like if I met you in high school and you were one of those people, by the end of high school, probably before the end of high school, you was out of here, buddy. You was out of here, buddy. And my best friend knows who I'm talking about, but that's an inside thing. Anyways, so that was one thing. Like I just thought about, I was like, damn, like I never had to worry about my people switching up on me, and these little white kids do. So anyways, there's this subplot though. They take us to this black airman, where there's this subplot with the military that kind of gives it like this Stranger Things vibe, right? And I'm like, something's in my eye right now, but it gives it this Stranger Things vibes, right? Because now we're setting up with these kids, because there's also these two little boys who were friends with the kid that went missing in the beginning of the episode, but they're not really good friends, by the way. Like it's one of those things, right? Like everybody's just not a good friend in this show right now. Then they go skip to this subplot with the military, and that's what gives it this Stranger Things vibe, because there's this military thing going on with the adults. Then there's the kids, and the kids have this mystery upon them, right? Because those kids eventually believe the girl who heard the missing kid in the pipes, right? So just to skip to the end, because like I said, a lot of exposition there. They murder 70% of the cast by the end of this episode. So the kids you thought you were starting to follow, like if you thought that this was 11, Will, and all of them, no, they kill 80% of them. By the end of this episode, only 2 kids remain, pretty much. So it was crazy, and I thought it was a dream. And getting into episode 2 now, because this is where this stuff starts to happen, and I start to be happy with this show, and I think that episode 2 redeemed itself. But I thought this was a dream, right? Because in the beginning of episode 2, what seems to be the main girl, because I don't even know if this is the main girl now, because they're just killing people. But anyways, the main girl wakes up from a dream, and I thought that that was the dream, right? And they didn't really establish that this was real till later in the episode. So this pretty much sets up a whole new cast, right? Like of the kids. The parents pretty much stay the same. They do add some characters, like the airman. His wife comes with his kid, right? So now this kid is going to eventually end up in this group. The other kid is the main girl and the daughter of the owner of the theater where all the kids were murdered at the end of the first episode, right? So that's going to play a part later on in the episode as well. I do think that there's some type of obsession, like I said, with giving birth, because what I think is a standout scene from the episode 2 is a birth scene, and it's very graphic and gory, but it's really good. It redeemed what the first episode didn't have in it. I think the first episode was just light, so be on the lookout for that. I'm not gonna say too much because I don't want to spoil exactly what happened, but that's a really good scene with some really good acting. What I don't like, just to get to it, is the racist undertones, right? And white people, that's your fault. So anybody who's I'm mad at it too, because I feel like we have to put this stuff in, because there's the black airman. He's being targeted at the base with some stuff going on with him. Then we have the black daughter of the guy who owns the theater. He's being what looks like framed for the murder of these kids that he definitely had nothing to do with. Even the airman's wife moving to the city, she's getting looked at different. His son in school is being looked at different. There's all of this racist undertone. It's not even undertone, it's outright. It's frustrating for me because, number one, we have to acknowledge it, right? Like, that's, like I said, white people, that's your fault. That's not on us. Don't say, oh, why are they trying to be woke? They trying to throw this down our face. No, we're not throwing it down your face. It was just, y'all was racist. Y'all still are racist. Yeah, so we got to put it in there. But I do think it takes away and it becomes a part of the storyline, right? So the airman is dealing with it. But more importantly, the main officer or main detective or chief, whatever he is, he gets a little nudge saying, hey, like, if you don't lock up the black dude for all them kids, you know, getting killed, come re-election time, you know, you're not going to be in place, and we're going to put somebody who will get him arrested. So pretty much he takes in the girl, the main girl, right, who is already seen as crazy and doesn't want to go back to the crazy house. He basically puts that police pressure on her, makes her flip and say some things that gets the black man who's the owner of the theater basically arrested, right? And I don't like that. Like, it's true. It's accurate to history that when white people's backs are pushed against the wall and there's a black person to blame, it's easy to just blame the black person and get the black person in trouble because nobody's going to care about them anyways, right? Like, and that's how it feels. And I just think it sucks, right? Like, for me to watch, like, it's the most frustrating part for me, not because it's not real. I know it. I've experienced some of it. I've actually experienced this type of thing myself, like literally, which is a story for another day that I'll tell one day. But it just sucks that it has to be derailed by this because y'all are racist. And it's a part of history. And it's nobody's fault but y'all. Leave it there. Then later on in the episode, there's this awesome horror grocery scene. I love a good horror scene that takes place in the day and in under good lights, you know, under broad daylight, where you wouldn't think something scary is happening. They did that well. I really thought that was good. And then by the end of the episode, they kind of give us that subplot of what's going on at the military base, which is really good because I was like, what the hell is going on over there? And they kind of explained some of that. So it wrapped up the episode well to me, to where I was like, okay, now I want to see episode 3. Like, where are we going from this? So overall, episode 1, little bit weak, but not bad. Episode 2 totally redeemed itself. It's good. Check it out. Welcome to Derry. One of the things I wanted to talk about is winter is coming. And I guess that's not a Game of Thrones like it is a Game of Thrones reference, but it's not. Like, that's not what it was meant to be. Winter really is coming. And this is when I'm most productive, I think. And I had probably a bad winter last winter. Usually winter is when I work out the most and I get back into shape. And I couldn't do that because I was coming off a really bad ankle injury. And I didn't know how bad it was until October, November of last year, when I started to try and, you know, work out again. And it said no. My ankle basically said no. Like, that's not what we're not doing that. That's not what we're doing. So it took some time. And, you know, this summer I started hiking. And the hiking actually helped me rehab my ankle really well because of the uneven terrain, the hills, all of the rocks and the roots that you have to step on, put a lot of pressure on the parts of your ankle that stabilize. So I was actually able to build those muscles back up, and I felt them pretty much immediately after I started hiking. Like the first, you know, 1 or 2 times I felt these muscles get really sore in the places that I had knew I hurt. And over time, it really helped me. And now I'm able to really work out again. So that's what I'm getting into. But like, what are people doing in the winter to stay disciplined? Because this is a time where a lot of people, because it's cold, and I'm East Coast, I'm New York, a lot of people get cold and they stay in and they just lounge around. Like, this is the time where, because I'm trapped in the house, because I don't like to be out in the cold, I'm on the treadmill, I'm lifting my weights, I'm doing my calisthenics, I got all types of stuff going on. So, you know, for me, this is a time of great focus, and I hope that people are using this time to do the same in whatever works for you, especially with mental health and how, you know, during these times it tends to dwindle because of seasonal depression, right? That's a real thing. I personally suffer from depression all year round. So I'm one of the lucky people that don't feel seasonal depression because it's always with me. Anyways, you know, staying focused and giving yourself a goal during this winter, and not a New Year's goal. Like, everybody's always focused on the New Year's coming. Nah, like fuck the New Year's. What are you doing today? Today is November, 3rd, maybe? Yeah, November 3rd. What are you doing today? And by the time that this comes out, it'll probably be November 5th. Who knows? But what are you doing to really focus and get on your goals? It's easy to push things to the next day and the next day and the next day. And then before you know it, the seasons changed and you didn't do anything on any of those days, and now you feel bad. And that's how the depression really impacts you, right? Depression gets you to give up your goals, give up your dreams, and push it to the next day. And then after a while, it's been 3 months and you look back and now you're depressed because you wasted 3 months, right? And that's the cycle, right? So now you're depressed because of that 3 months. And so you don't do nothing for another 3 months because you felt so bad about what you didn't do. And at some point you have to snap it. You have to cut the fuck out of that, and you have to go get your goals. So I hope everyone's doing that. I know that I'm working on mine. I got a little chubby with this, like I said, this injury. I went from, what was I, between 210 and 215, I think I was, and now I'm 238. So I got some work to do, but it's nothing now that I can really, be on my ankle like I need to be. I wish you all well though, in whatever your journey is this winter. Do it. Do it. Now, y'all know I love when there's music to review, and there's music to review. Josh Levi's album. I'm late on this. Number one. Number two, this is not an artist that I knew about. My boy Chad put me onto this. He actually told me about it probably closer to when it released, which I think was October 10th. His name's Josh Levi. The album is called Hydraulic. Whoo, boy, we're going to spend some time here. This joint sounds like my boy hopped out a 2000s R&B time capsule. This music is so good. The style of the music, I'm about to tell y'all what it is, because I wrote notes on this too, because I thought it was worth that, and worth speaking in a way that really details what he did here. So the music, what I hear when I listen to it, the influence I hear, it's got hints of Brother. I don't know if y'all remember that group. Their song was I Can Hear the Music when I'm dancing on you. I can hear music. And then Day 26, after they expanded their sound to more of that stadium music sound, and it had some Backstreet Boys influence after they expanded their sound, right? Like that Millennium sound. It has hints of like Chris Brown, Craig David, but it's got the layering and the harmonizing of like Brandy over Aaliyah beats. It's just like this time capsule, and it's really good. What really stands out the most to me though, other than that sound, because it's very unique, I don't hear anybody doing this right now, is the writing. The writing stands out in the way that it's arranged, right? So it's more traditional, it's formulaic, but it doesn't feel that way because we're so used to song arrangements today, and what he's doing is traditional. So he'll do a verse, right? A short, catchy pre-chorus or pre-hook, then a chorus, then a verse, then a bridge, then a chorus, right? This is very formulaic. This is what songs used to be, right? Nobody does this anymore, so it sounds different, and he's doing it perfectly. So some standout songs, right? Like we always want to do the intro. The intro is Rodeo. I really love this song. I wasn't bought into this song because of the first vocals on it. Was like, it didn't catch me. It was like one of those notes, it's like rodeo, rodeo, or something like that, right? And I don't really mess with those types of hooks, but the verses and the sounds on it, he brought that like Aaliyah beat, but he was just, I don't know, man. It was good. It captured the sound perfectly of what you're about to hear on the album. I love when an intro song does that. That's what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to set the tone, and this was the perfect song for that. And now this is one of my favorite songs. My least favorite song would be this song called Name on It, or Put My Name on It. I don't know what the song title is. I just know that I didn't like it. It follows that poppy sound, but I just didn't like something about it. I don't know. But the album is full of standout songs just in general, right? So R&B is really good. Like a lot of these songs are really good. I can't even just name a whole bunch of standout songs because a lot of these songs are good. It's one of those albums you need to listen to. But what I will say is my favorite track is called I Can't Go Outside. It's just a great example of verse, pre-chorus, chorus, verse, pre-chorus. Like it's just perfect. It's executed perfectly. It's the perfect type of hook. I really, really, really enjoyed that album. I really, really enjoy that song. You need to check I Can't Go Outside. He's basically saying I can't go outside. Outside's not big enough. I'm running into you at every club. I can't go outside. Outside's just not big enough. Like running into your ex in a small city, and just like what that makes you feel. Man, it's just a really good song. So check out the album Hydraulic by Josh Levi. Dope. Oh, and SNAP benefits. So SNAP benefits for all those who may be interested. I think the judge passed this and said the Trump administration needs to pay out the contingency funds, and basically this equates to about 50% of like the normal SNAP amount. So a lot of people are not going to get the full SNAP support that they usually get, and there will be a lot of delays because of the timing with all this. But I think that instead of always looking at Republicans versus Democrats, right? Because with the government shutdown and all of this stuff, it's been Republicans saying it's the Democrats holding it up. It's the Democrats saying, well, we're not trading people's healthcare for food, right? Like we want both, right? But like taking them out of it, like just look at these optics real quick. So Trump is creating this ballroom, and it doesn't matter where the money's coming from, right? Or maybe it does matter where the money's coming from. But first, let's just take a look at this optic that part of the White House is being renovated. We'll say renovated, right? And building this luxury ballroom that has all of this privilege and elegance and this affluent nature to it, while people in our nation are not going to be able to afford food, and the only exchange to get this food is to harm healthcare that's already bad in America, because we don't want it to go to illegal aliens who are not actually eligible in the first place. And even if there are people who sneak through the cracks, right, of this, that are able to get this, it's harming more people that are legal than it's helping people who are illegal. So when we look at the optics of this, right, and we take out these parties, is that where we want to be? Is that the America we want to live in? Is this the America that you people who say that you believe in our nation and that this is the greatest country in the world? And I'm not necessarily denying that this is the greatest country in the world. I'm just saying, look at it. Look at these optics. We can build this extravagant thing while we have people starving, while we're trading food for healthcare and healthcare for food. It's something that I think we need to look at and stop thinking about political parties, right? Because all we do when we do that is blame each other. Why don't we just look at what's happening and say, ooh, I'm okay with that, or ooh, I'm not okay with that, right? And if you're not okay with that, then you can get into where the root cause is, right? But I think we need to decide who we are as a people first, and who we are as a nation, and what we actually believe in before we talk about these political parties. Because like I've been saying, is that political parties politicize your morals. Your morals are not supposed to be tied to this. So just think about that when you think about everything that's going on, everyone placing blame, this, that, and the third. Does it really matter when you think about it? What actually matters, right? It's just like, it's not even food for thought, because it's not deep. I'm not saying anything that's profound. It's like literally slapping you in the face right now. If you look at anything about politics right now and about the state, that's the problem. It's too much about politics and not about humanity. And when we lose our humanity for politics, what are we doing? Who are the politics for if not for humanity, right? So I don't know, man. It's just, it's frustrating to see, because nobody wants to listen to anybody because of it. Which leads me to the last thing. It's a rule of life, I think, at this point. When the streets go hungry, everyone's food. Everyone. Me, my neighbor, somebody states over. Everybody is food when the streets go hungry. This is not a place I want to live in, like right now. Like, and you got to understand, like, the places where I come from and the places I've seen, and there's worse than where I've come from, right? So I'm just speaking on my experience. When the streets go hungry and everyone becomes food, that's a place you don't want to be in. I'm telling you, it's a place where if you got a back door, if you have the privilege of having a back door and a front door, you use your back door because you don't want people seeing you come in and out of your house. You keep your head on a swivel everywhere you go. Now you got to keep your head on a swivel in the parking lot of the grocery store when the streets get hungry. Like, I don't think people understand this, because the people who are putting us in this position live in places where the streets can't get to until they can, right? Because after the streets eat themselves, right? Because everything's based on proximity, right? Once they eat through themselves, well, now we still got to eat. And that's when they start reaching out to the people. That's where you get the French Revolution, right? Like, this is like, boy, like, listen, don't even let me tell it, because number one, I'm not a historian. Okay, so it might not be accurate. What I know is accurate though is that what I said, when the streets get hungry, everybody is food. Mm. Me, you, your mama, the cat. You know, Trump was lying about people eating people's pets. If the streets get hungry, people gonna be eating people's pets. And it's not a color thing. It's not gonna be whatever he was lying about, like Haitians or whatever. It's gonna be, hunger don't have a color. Hunger don't know a color. Hunger is hunger, bro. That affects everybody. And when, man, I'm not even gonna keep saying it. And I think with that, we are gonna wrap up episode 4 of Subject to Change. You know, like I know, nothing remains the same except everything subject to change. I'm your host, Dane, and I'm out of here. I'm out of here.